What's up, everyone, and welcome to episode 251 of Two Amazon Sellers and a Microphone, brought to you by Solozo. Today's gonna be fun. This is a great topic. We're talking about upcoming conferences that are coming up September, October of this year, and just the power of attending these conferences. Chris, you and I have been to quite a few of these conferences in different roles, different capacities. As sellers, as presenters, as speakers, and there's just so much power to attending these. So it'll be fun to dive into this today.
Yeah, I love going to them, and sometimes you got a budget to which ones you can go to. And it's not only like Amazon conferences, maybe like your industry conference. Like if you sell clothing, like go to the recent clothing conference and meet a supplier or something. Like I enjoy, so every year I do that as well. Like I go to my conference for the industry I'm in, and those are fun because you're not only like talking about Amazon. There's a few things about Amazon, but most of it's like brick and mortar or what's industry changing, and so it's you can kind of get ahead of your competition. So I think going to conferences is definitely something to bookmark or earmark throughout your calendar, like something to definitely make plans for.
Oh yeah, and we've talked about this numerous times, and I feel like you're on the same page as me on this. But a mistake early on, we started a long time ago, 2014, 2015. A mistake early on in our own journeys is not networking enough. I mean, I was living in Tennessee, teaching tennis lessons, doing e-commerce on the side, and my one source of information was one podcast I listened to, which was great. But man, if I'd have been networked, if I'd have had the opportunities and advantages I have now from the people that I know, the communities that we're in, things would have been a lot different.
Oh, for sure. I mean, definitely at the very beginning, you're like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. Should I go out and meet people? Should I tell people about it? And then once you go, you're like, I should have been doing this a long time ago. Like you got to get out there and you got to like meet people. It's definitely something to do.
Yeah, they're inspiring. You learn that other people have the same challenges that you have. You learn people that have overcome those same challenges. You learn, people have had way bigger challenges than you've ever dreamed of having, and they're doing fine. They've overcome them. I think there's a lot that goes into that because it can be a lonely business and it can be defeating at certain times. It can be overwhelming at certain times. And it's just really important to surround yourself with people that are in the same boat. Whether they're way more successful, not as successful, just starting, it doesn't matter. Just being around them is super helpful.
Yep. I agree. But trying to transition here before we dive into it. So I was talking to you earlier about this, and maybe it's something that people might care about. But we haven't really talked about like how our own businesses are doing, right? Like how you've been doing. I had a little hiatus there, and finally, came back to the well. But like just kind of like a update on what you're doing, what you're seeing. What are some things that are going on in your business, Dustin? Kind of give us an update on what you're doing and just how things are going in your Amazon business.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've got a lot of different things in the fire right now. I've talked a lot about online arbitrage, so I've really been scaling that side of my business. I never was doing it before. We talk about reselling and retail arbitrage, and there's a lot of different ways to make money. So about 4 or 5 months ago, after having a guest on our podcast and multiple guests talking about online arbitrage, I was like, I should probably test the waters here. So I have been doing that, and it is scaling. Admittedly, it's not scaling as fast as I want to right now because I've got so many other things going on, but I have shifted more of my attention recently to the online arbitrage side. And it's fascinating. It's been a lot of fun. I'm getting ready to now scale it by moving to a prep center. So I'm in conversations with 2 or 3 prep centers, and then scale out the purchasing to VAs. But I wanted to take like the last couple months to really do it all myself. Learn everything. Learned everything about, I was buying jelly. It was Smucker's jelly. Anybody who wants there's Smucker's jellies. There's a great opportunity.
But Dustin's got a lot of them.
I got a lot of them, but they were coming. I would order them. That 10% of them were broken. They're in a glass jar. So even the ones that I'm getting, a lot of them were broken. The way Amazon was shipping them, they were getting broken. I was trying every different type of bubble wrap and packaging and how can I make this better? Because it was really decent profit margin on them. And you could turn them quick. But I made a decision, if I'm going to start outsourcing this, I need to focus on products that have the least amount of risk. So I just scrapped it from my catalog. Just not going to worry about it. There's a million other products I can sell. So that was a big shift, trying to, move forward for the future of what I'm trying to go after. If I'm going to try to make it more as automated or as outsourced as possible, at least this side, then just focus on things that don't get broken. Shoes, clothes, anything, toys. There's a million things that come packaged really well. And, I was also doing multi-packs is another thing that I figured out. So bundling was a really good one. You could get good margins on bundling, but added a layer of complexity. I thought, let's just scrap that too. Let's just make sure that we can just single units that meet the numbers, that meet the metrics, and let's move them. So
there's a lot of lessons there. Like, I think Dustin, you years ago would probably try to figure out a way to keep that glass jelly because it was making you money. And you're like, I got to keep this. I got to keep this thing afloat. So you've learned your lesson where you're like, nope, I'm done. All I need is like 100, 200, whatever that number is, good selling SKUs, and just turn and burn, and just keep repeating that order. And you're like, your risk is really low, right? Because you're not committed to thousands of units.
Exactly.
You just, give me a case of this, case of that, and sell it and move on.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a really interesting journey. Not to mention it's great product research for anybody out there. It's great product research. You can find.
Yeah, you might be able to find something where you can private label. I think.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like,
I've got a list. Yeah. I've got a list right now. Just when you see these products that really move with really subpar listings, I mean, clear, the brands aren't involved obviously in listings. It's somebody who's just throwing up a grainy image of the product, and it's a well-known brand name, or at least in that niche, it's a well-known brand name, and they sell. I'm like, this is opportunities here where there's not a whole lot of competition. This one's moving really good, and it's subpar. It's a private label opportunity. So I'm definitely building a list of different products that have these private label opportunities. So that's been really fun. The other interesting thing on the private label side is, there's a lot of talk in the advertising space about, what do you do when you have that like top organic ranking, or you are Amazon's choice or Amazon's bestseller. If you talk to a lot of people that are in the advertising space, it's like, never, ever turn off your ads, keep them running. You got to protect your top spot. You've got to make sure that you're continuing to grow, keeping competitors off of that spot. This particular category I'm in, it's not super cheap cost per clicks. So that protection comes at a cost. So launched this product about in May. So whatever that is, 4 or 5 months ago, 4 months ago in May. It's been live in May. Pretty aggressive advertising budget. Got it ranked, got the sales going, super low price on launch, way below the category median. Started generating sales, ended up getting, I just looked at my keyword tracking yesterday for it. #1 organic rank for like probably 40, 50 of the main long tail keywords. Nice. and the main keyword. So it's stuck. So anyway, did the initial launch in May with the large advertising budget. Shut ads off in June. Have not advertised since, and nothing slipped. Completely, and my price has doubled. My retail price has doubled since then. So I think that and I'd love your thoughts on this, Chris, because it's it's what am I missing out on potentially? I mean, I've got all the data. I mean, my advertising strategy was aggressive. It was wide net. Was advertising a lot of keywords. It was not profitable, but it did its job. It got me ranked. Obviously it's profitable now, this product, but is there, at some point, maybe I look at it all the time, do I need to trigger the ads? Am I slipping anywhere? And of course I will when I do, but I think there's a case to be made every once in a while.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I battle with that too. Like, do I keep turning the ads off or do I turn them on, or what do I want to do here? And I think once you achieve that, top of search at your ads, it now just comes down to monitoring your keywords. And I think that's what you're already doing. Because if you slip there, let's say I'm your competitor, and you're not running ads, and I am, it's only a matter of time that I catch up with you, right? And we've seen Amazon say it online. You can look around for articles, but all it takes is for me to rank is, get some clicks, get some add to carts, get some sales, and before you know it, I can start to creep up on you. Maybe drive some traffic from Google. Like, these are all things that you can do externally, right? But I think you're doing a really good job of keeping your eye on it. So if it does slip, all you got to do is turn back on.
Right.
Now you've got that relevance score too, because you're already getting really good conversion. You have good conversion rate. It's like you're tiptoeing the line a little bit, right? Like, do I do this? What I would probably do, and you probably test this, is I would probably still run ads. I would just lower my bid and maybe even lower my budget and just keep them active just so that the ads are out there. So that maybe I do show up, maybe not on like the top of search for my keywords, but maybe it's like the middle part because my bid's a little bit lower, or I keep my bid where it's at. I just lower my budget. Let's say I had $100. I just lowered my budget to like 50. So I cut my budget in half and just ride that 50 out, and whatever I get, and I don't worry about anything else. I just get some sales. Maybe my $50 doesn't last me all day, but at least I'm getting some add to carts and get some conversions to kind of keep that going. I don't know. It's worth the test. That's why I love this game. Like, you could test Google, you could test your PPC, you could do video ad, like all this stuff. You could see if it works. But I think where people miss it is the tracking keywords. Like, you got to you got to track that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tracking. Now, obviously, if sales start slipping, anything happens, that ad strategy comes right back on. But I kind of tinkered with this, obviously with the online arbitrage, which is, you don't advertise when you're doing online arbitrage. And, you're like, well, how are these products staying highly ranked? How are they just continuing to generate sales with zero advertising? It's, they've been on there for 10 years.
Yeah.
They've got huge conversion rates. They're great sellers. They're well-known brand names. So I think for anybody listening, obviously I would have made no sales to this point if I hadn't have advertised very aggressively, got traction in that category. And there's definitely things that I could be doing more with advertising, different ad placements potentially, but moving forward, I mean, if I start slipping on certain keywords, I'll just target that keyword, top of search multiple.
What do you do on the listing? Because it's not a listing that you own. There's a lot of people that are on that listing. Like, how I don't know this space that well. So how do you change like your image? Like, if you wanted to add more images to the listing, or if you want to update the title, if you want to update the bullets, do you just submit a ticket to Amazon and say, hey, update the title? Or like, how does that work as far as multiple sellers on the listing?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I have attempted to edit a lot of the listings for these. I mean, there was one product I can distinctly remember, one image, and it was really tiny, so you couldn't zoom in on it. It was, but the product sold. But I was like, well, okay, I'm winning the buy box pretty much all the time on this one right now, for whatever reason. Got the, found the best price outside of Amazon to get it. I was like, well, let me edit this listing. And so I did, and only parts of it went on. So like, I changed the main image, that got it, and you just do it like you normally do when you edit a product on Amazon. You can edit anything you want. But I put like bullet points, description, everything. Well, the only thing that showed on Amazon as a change was the new high resolution image. None of the other stuff got accepted. I've put open cases with Amazon. And one thing that I've learned, we also talked to Vanessa Hung about this on a previous episode, is the hierarchy of how Amazon allows edits. So like the highest is Amazon. They can do whatever they want to a listing. Then it goes brand registry. So if you got brand registry, you should pretty much always be able to make adjustments. Then when it comes to people that share the buy box, there's going to be a weighted algorithm of how much influence you as a seller have over the listing. And I don't know if you've ever noticed this, Chris, but a lot of times products that, I don't know if you did anything with your retail arbitrage days or anything else, but sometimes you'll get emails. If you are on the listing, you'll get an email from Amazon saying, this is an edit to the listing that was submitted by somebody else. Do you approve or not approve of this? So, a lot of times Amazon's reaching out to other sellers to maybe vet the edit and see if they get a consensus before they do it.
I haven't heard that before.
Yeah. So sometimes my changes hit, sometimes they don't. But that
either way the product is selling, right?
Either way the product is selling, and and again, that goes back to the main thing we were talking about earlier. Do I want to spend all my time doing that, or just move on to another product? If the listing is hurting conversion and it only sells 5 or 6 units a month, I can spend the same dollars I was spending on that on something else, and that's a lot less time invested.
Yep.
So
that's good.
It's pretty interesting. What's going on in your world?
Oh, nothing. I don't even sell on Amazon. I just make it up. No, things have been good. So I know I've mentioned before a couple of new brands. I did just get a new brand registered. That was crazy. We got a new brand registered in like literally a few weeks. I filed for the trademark on my own. I've done this before with my current brand where I filed a trademark and did all that through what is it, tes.org or whatever it is, that website. So I filed a trademark, and then I went to brand registry and tried to get a brand registered, and put the serial number in there, and then got on a call. I've never had to do this before, where I had to actually get on a call with somebody to validate that it was a real brand. And normally I'm like trying to break the ice, like, hey, how's it going? Like, and this guy, stone cold, didn't even no emotion, nothing, couldn't get through him. And he's like, during the interview, he's like, okay, I see your website here, great. Now, do you have product that you could show me with the logo on it and with your brand name on it? You're supposed to bring 50 units to this meeting. And I was like, no, I don't have that, because I don't want to commit to making logos if I'm not going to get this brand registered. I don't have that yet. This is the brand I have. I don't have that yet. And he's like, okay. And you just see him write something down. He's like, I'll let you know my decision in like 24 hours. I was like, great. This did not go well. Yeah. But he declined it. So I was like, oh shit. So I waited a couple weeks and then resubmitted, and didn't have the interview process. At this point, I went out and bought 50 stickers of the logo, and I just got 50 stickers real quick. I threw them on a bag with the product in there, and took a photo with it, and I resubmitted brand registry with this new image with the logo on it. And for some reason, I didn't have to do an interview, and then it got approved. So the brand name is now approved. I'm up on Amazon with this new brand name. I'm really excited about it. So now I've got 4 brands registered, brand registry. One I don't really use anymore. It's just there, but now I got 4 on there. So I got some options.
Yeah.
So that's Amazon. On external Amazon, I got a call from Ross. Ross, the
discount
selling, like the brick and mortar discount store. Yeah, Ross called me. And so that was strange. So I took a call with Ross, and they're like, hey, we want to add some of your products to our store. We want to test it out. Send us over a list. if you're like your best 10 SKUs. And so I'm working on that now. But that meeting was with two buyers, and they were just like kind of interviewing me, talking about the products and stuff and whatnot. And they're like, hey, just, we're easy to work with. Our terms are net 60, so I got to float it for 60 days, which is typical, especially dealing with like third party people or vendors. She's like, to send us a list, send us the pricing, and then we'll place an order. Usually it's around 1,200 units, roughly, and then we'll come pick it up and we'll send it to all of our stores and distribute it. I was like, that's it? She's like, yeah, that's it. Really not a lot of paperwork. We're easy to work with, and so that's exciting. I don't know what to expect there, but all I got to do is send them over a list of products with the price and go from there. And I'm thinking about making this like a loss leader, where I just like give them really good pricing. Maybe I only make $1, or maybe I break even on it, just for brand awareness. And I have an insert card already in the bag. So if I'm breaking even on 1,200 units, but I gain 600 customers, this is 50% convert. If I gain 600 customers through my insert, it's like I'm willing to take that chance, right? I'll be willing to break even if I gain more customers that I can then promote other products to, then come to my Shopify account, they can find other products online. So I don't know what to expect with this Ross thing, but it's kind of exciting. It's not PetSmart, it's not Petco, it's not Kohl's, it's not Target, it's not what other one? Home Goods. It's not like those other big ones that you all see in there, but hey, it's a start.
Ross is everywhere.
Yeah. I asked the lady, I said, every time I come into when I go to a Ross, it looks like you guys have no stock. She's like, that's done on purpose. It's to be like a glorified thrift store. So like you come in once a week, if you time it just right, our stores are going to be packed. But if you come in like Sunday afternoon, it's probably going to be empty. But she's like, we do that on purpose, where it's like a scavenger hunt every time you come in, and if you time it just right, the store's full.
Huh. I wonder how. So are you assuming that they saw the product selling well on Amazon, and that's what caused them to reach out?
I didn't ask, and I should have. I don't know how I got on their radar. I really have no idea. And normally it's the other way around, right? Like you're reaching out to all these people, like, hey, put my product in your store.
Right.
I got an email, and normally I don't entertain these things, but I was like, let's see what this is about. And so far, so good. So
yeah,
I'll keep you updated. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll say this for another time, a story, but the power of having your product exposed on Amazon. I mean, people are out there. I mean, we all use tools to see how many sales our competitors are making, and where they're positioned in the market. I mean, everyone has access to that data. A lot of opportunities come your way. If you've got a good seller on Amazon, you'll have a lot of people knocking at your door to sell those products.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, I don't know what to expect, but still grinding away and just trying to go. It feels like Amazon at some point is going to be like my second or third most powerful sales channel, because there's other ones that are gaining more steam.
Yeah, it's exciting. Omni-channel.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Love it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, let's talk about conferences. So
yes,
because and this is super important. I wish somebody had this conversation with me back in 2014. I heard about all these events. I was like, nah, I don't need to. I'm not going to spend $1,000 or $1,500, whatever it costs to get the ticket, the flight, the hotel. It could be many thousands. When it all said and done, I was like, I don't know. It's like, should I go? Should I not? I'm like, I'm here working on my business. What's the point? But it's powerful. So I mean, we can talk about. I mean, the different conferences. I mean, Prosper. Obviously, we were there this year. We're going to Helium 10 Sell and Scale Summit coming up on the 19th of this month. Super excited to go there. There's gonna be a lot of networking opportunities. We got a list of other conferences coming up this month that we're going to roll through. We've been to many other conferences. We've both spoken at conferences in the past, just attended, represented Solozo at conferences, but just being there, and the people that we've met and the network and you just come back energized. You come back raring to go on your business. I mean,
it's like a mind shift. Like when you get on the plane, it's like you're going to like a fairy tale land where all your people are at, and you gotta get like you want to get ready and you're excited to get there. So it's fun. It's fun. I like going to them.
Yeah. Well, you bring up a good point. It's like you're getting around all of your people. I mean, we all have experience. We've talked about this before too, but it's like, I mean, I'm surrounded by friends and family that either have zero interest in what I'm doing or don't understand what I'm doing. It's like I'm speaking a foreign language when I'm talking to them. So you don't get a lot back. You can, some people are super interested and it's fun, but you're just basically outlining what you do. And, okay, they're either, oh, wow, that's amazing, or, move on to a different topic. But at a conference, you're going to be surrounded by thousands of people that are in your same shoes. Every conversation, you can get into the nitty gritty, what's going on. I mean, every conversation I've ever had at a conference, I'm learning something from somebody, or providing value to somebody, or meeting a future friend for life that I can talk to. I mean, it's amazing. And I think you and I could probably spend 10 hours going through just actionable things that we have not been doing in our business that we implemented right after attending a conference that made major lifts in our business.
Yeah, you'll get speakers that sometimes only share things live. Like they don't go on podcast and share their tips. They're only going to share live, and you may not even get a copy of the slides. Like that's what you get when you go live. Like, this is all I got for you. And people that didn't attend, they're not going to know about it. So sometimes it's worth it to go. And we've got a list here. I think we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us, 5 little things that we chatted about. And you and I were talking about some of these earlier, but we'll go over this first one here is like, get uncomfortable. Like I forget who told me this, but it's like, if you're uncomfortable, so is that person you're talking to. Like they're uncomfortable too. Like everybody's uncomfortable. So like you got to get uncomfortable. Everybody else is going to be shy. You might as well just be uncomfortable and be outgoing and start networking.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big holdback for me. It's weird how you can feel like you're not an expert, even though it's something that you're doing every hour of every day. It's like that imposter syndrome. You just kind of still feel that way, especially, when you see people posting and it's like, oh, I just went up to 1.7 million this month in revenue, and you're nowhere near that. It's like, oh my gosh, they're the real experts, and it's like you kind of go back into your shell. And it's funny because if you ask any of my friends or any of my family, describe Dustin, it's like absolute extrovert, loves, will talk to anybody, easy going, but really there's like an internal part of me where I could go to a conference and I could sit in the corner and just watch from far away and be totally fine, and not interact. But sometimes when you pull yourself out of that comfort zone and you just start talking to people, you realize this is just another person doing their thing, failing, winning, love to share what they're doing.
Sometimes you need a little liquid courage, right? You get a little boost, get a little liquid courage. Just
exactly.
Whatever your choice is, whatever you
got to do, just get uncomfortable. How about the first time we spoke at a conference? Talk about uncomfortable.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's taking it like the next step. It's like now you can start presenting and sharing ideas, which is a great way to get exposure about your product or your service or whatever it is, and just get better recognition in the industry as someone to go to for advice. But yeah, that was a leap. I think both you and I were on the same page. We're like, we said yes, we'll do it really quick, and then we had a few months to really stew over the fact that we're going to be on stage speaking.
But then when it was over, I was like, let's do that again.
Absolutely.
Give me that again.
It's great.
Give me that again. I learned something. I knew what I would change if I want to do this again.
Exactly.
Give me that again, because it's just, I don't know, motivating. And we talk about all the time. We love just helping others,
absolutely,
and do the same thing, like to navigate this little Amazon river that we're going down.
Yeah, but the main thing is just, I mean, if you haven't been to a conference, pick one, go, and just start networking. Which brings up our next point is it's expanding your network.
Yeah,
this is the point. There's a lot of sayings out there that it seem cliche. You're like a sum of who you surround yourself with. They sound kind of cliche, and it's all rainbows and everything else, but there's truth to that. I mean, if you have people that you can reach out to for help, there's people that you can help, and if you keep expanding that, it makes an enormous difference. I mean, I can't tell you, Chris, because you already know this, but so this is episode 251 of our podcast. The majority of the time we have guests on that, they're people we've never met before. We're interested in learning their story. By the end of our hour conversation, we feel like friends. We follow up afterwards, emails, share stories. We meet up at conferences. Same thing goes for meeting people at conferences. The amount of resources now that we have access to because of just trying to connect to people through our network is enormous, and it's a game changer.
Yep. I mean, somebody knows somebody who knows somebody else. If that person that they're talking to needs help and that person doesn't have the answer for what that person needs, they at least have a person in their network, right? Like if we talk to somebody and we don't have an expertise in that area, it's like, you know what? I do have somebody. Let me see if I can get a hold of them and see if they can help you out in this situation. Like it's just growing your network. When you go to conferences, it's good to see those people again. It's good to chit chat again, how things are going. Their business is changing. I was talking to a guy at the Prosper Show and kind of give him my rundown. And he's like, well, how do you rank your product? What are you doing to re-rank your product? And I was like, I'm just using ads. And he's like, you need to try this. And I was like, I never thought of that. It's right in my face. I should have done that. And, just like you get around, you go to these happy hours, you go to these after hours events, and just go up to somebody and what do you do? And a lot of people are going to be scared to share their brand name, whatever, right? Like, I don't have time to copy what you're doing. Like, I got my own crap I got to worry about. I'm not trying to launch the next pizza cutter, right? I don't care about that stuff. Like, I just, whatever. If you want to tell me, whatever. But it's still, you get like face recognition. You recognize them at the next one, and you go and you get more networking. I love it. And you get to our next topic here is insights. Gain more insights and up-to-date knowledge. So this is where, the latest and greatest things that are happening in your industry are going to be shared. People are going to try to switch up their talks and make it more relevant to the topic. Walmart's been a big thing. It's like learning about Walmart is, a hot topic that people are, talking about. Amazon ads are changing. So the latest and greatest on Amazon ads are going to be changed. Ranking is changing. All kinds of product selection is changing. So this is where you can learn the latest and greatest. And you can also like jump around from like booth to booth or section to section. I think at Prosper, you and I like, hey, I want to go check out this one. Well, I want to go check out this one. So we kind of like split up a little bit, like checked it out. And I was like, this is maybe not my cup of tea. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to go to that part of my business. So I meet back up with you. And we go through this one. So gaining more insights and up-to-date knowledge is only going to be a benefit to you if you attend these conferences.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never forget. We went last year to a conference in Austin and the conference hadn't even started yet. Everyone's checking into the hotel, networking in the lobby. And all of a sudden, everyone starts getting these emails from Amazon about their new policy on search, find, buys, like review generation and ranking strategies. They were basically putting the complete kibosh on it. I mean, there was tools that got kicked off of Amazon's network. It was a big deal.
It was like we were all in a group chat and
Yes.
Amazon hit send and we all got it at the same time.
Everyone got it at the same time. And we're all there. And you and I both had multiple campaigns running at that time. You know, that was a legitimate strategy. It worked. It worked really, really well. If we hadn't have been there, that could have been lost on us. It's
well, and to add to that real quick, like there was people there that had a little bit more like read between the lines on what that message really was, and they're like, well, it's not the end of the world here.
Yes,
you can still like they're kind of just throwing out a wide net, and they're going to pull in all those people. You know, if you participate in these things, but there was like people still like it's not. Don't say the world's ending because there's there's ways that you can. I don't know. Some people are like, I'm pissed because people are blowing it up and it's making it way worse than it is.
Yeah,
and some people are freaking out. So
yeah, but it was nice to be in that environment when we got that email, because my reaction sitting in my home office would have been, oh no,
where's Dustin? I got to talk to him.
What's going on here? What is going on? Am I breaking a bunch of rules? You know, so it's like it was everyone was able to hash it out, discuss it, you know, come up with plans moving forward. But that's just an sample of what it's like when you're around a network of people and you get these insights and you can talk through what you need to do. That's one of hundreds. So now moving on from that topic to when you go to a conference, there's going to be a main exhibition hall where there are tons of booths, lots of service providers, vendors, software programs like Solozo, tools that you can use to help grow your business. It's great to walk around and learn what all these do. I mean, how many tools do you use on a daily basis that are making a difference in your business that you would not have known about or wouldn't have had the comfort to get started with unless you'd had that conversation with them?
A lot. And when you use their tool, you can also be like coming to as a client and be like, hey, I'm using this tool. I'm using your guys' tool. I'm having trouble with it. Or what's a better way to use it? Whatever it is, or they're new tools. I love going and like, oh, I've never heard of that tool before, or I've never heard of that service provider or that company before, and just kind of engage conversation. Remember, they're nervous too, right? Like they're nervous. They're nervous to be at the booth. Like they're kind of like on display. So if they're there, you're there, you're like, well, we're both nervous. Let's just talk about your products.
Yeah. But a lot of those, I mean, I can think of one tool in specifically was using them, still use them, but at a conference, visiting their booth, just in conversations, I realized I was underutilizing the tool. There was a lot of things that I could have been doing better. And it was just a conversation, nice little 15-minute conversation. They walked me through everything that I could be doing to make it better. And that's great. I mean, what a huge benefit to just showing up, spending time with them, learning how to use what they're doing better.
And it's not just like, again, this is not just Amazon conference talk here. Like if you're in the clothing industry, go walk past those booths. You may find a new supplier. You may find a new product line. You may find a new brand that you can sometimes private label from. Like that's happened to me. Like you think they're a competitor, but they actually have a private label program you could do as well. Like, so visiting the booths and just learning what they do, or even it's happened to me again. Like you walk down a row of booths and you hit a guy up and he has a product and it's not on Amazon. You're like, okay, I could do the same product, or I could make this product a little bit better because you've already got the knowledge on like what Amazon, like what it's missing. And you could now sell that same product, or you could be like, hey, I could be your Amazon guy. Like you're not an Amazon, maybe your Amazon guy. I'll take 20% or 10% or whatever that percentage is you guys work out of your Amazon sales, but I'll run the whole thing for you. and you can worry about brick and mortar and getting into all those other stores. Let me just do your Amazon account.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's huge. This is just some of the power of attending these conferences. Of course, now, a big benefit is when you come back from a conference, you are fully recharged and you are motivated to roll it out. I mean, I think that this is probably the number one for me, just in terms of attending conferences, is the day-to-day being in your home office or your office and, just going through the same routines every day, checking your PPC, checking your inventory, sending it in, talking to suppliers. It can get dull. But when you come back from a conference, you're supercharged. You're motivated. You've got this huge to-do list of things that you can roll out. And then you start to see what you're implementing make a difference. And it just kind of keeps that energy going for a while. You're rejuvenated. I think that's absolutely critical for.
Yeah. And you want to make sure you take like some sort of notes, like have your like notes out on your phone, or have like a notebook you do. And every day, like, okay, this day we talked about this. That way, when you get home or you're on the plane back, you can kind of remind yourself, okay, this was the topic they talked about. This is what I want to implement it. Or, oh yeah, this guy talked about this. I need to check out this tool. That way you don't forget what they're talked about. And then you're motivated to do it. It just kind of gives you like a little bit more of like a boost, right? Like you're like,
Absolutely.
okay, I'm not where I need to be. This guy is, or that gal is, or this brand is. Here's what I can do to implement my changes and move forward and just go get it. Like you have to kind of implement those changes on the fly.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, let's wrap this up by just talking about a couple of the upcoming conferences. Today is Friday, September 2nd. So some of these are coming up real quick. The Surge Summit starts on the 6th. So just a couple days from now, it's in Tampa. That looks like that could be a really good event.
This one is put on by Riverbend, I believe, Riverbend Consulting. And there's going to be some other good speakers there. But if you're in the Tampa area, definitely something, or Florida area or wherever, if you're around that area, definitely a conference I would get to. There's going to be a lot of good speakers there.
Absolutely. And then anybody who's in the Australia area or who's looking to take a quick, fun trip to Australia, there's the Southern Seller Fest coming up the 9th through the 11th. We know a lot of people headed down to that event. I believe that's their first. This is like the inaugural conference for them. But these a conference in another country, there's a lot of them in Europe, London, now Australia. There's a lot of opportunity to learn what's going on in those other marketplaces, how you can. I mean, Australia is fascinating to me. Seems to be growing really, really well. So there could be a lot that you learn there. So that's coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot of good speakers on that list. Stephen Black is a guy that is really good. Jamie Peros, I'm looking at. There's a lot of good. Adam Runquist is another good guy. Yeah, there's a lot of good people on this list.
Yep. And then the one that we are going to coming up really soon is in Vegas. It's the Sell and Scale Summit. That's the 19th through the 22nd. So anybody listening, if you're going to be in Vegas for this conference, please come find us. Get out of your comfort zone and come say hi. We'd love to meet you. We do have a $100 off code for this. Oh, you've got it on the screen here.
Yeah, $100 off S3 events. S3 events. I know it's short notice, but save you $100. S3 events. Looks like all VIP tickets are sold out, but it's in Vegas at the Virgin. You could probably find me on the dance floor with Nelly. That's where I'll be. So Nelly's going to be there. Gary V's going to be there. That's Dustin's boy. Gary V's going to be there. That'll be fun. But S3 events. sellandscalesummit.com.
Yep. And then there's one SellerCon is coming up in the spring of 2023. Looks like they don't have the dates set for that yet.
Yeah,
So
I
we'll
just
keep
saw that.
you posted.
I saw that online last night. Mike McClary and the team over at amazing.com said it was coming back. So that's good news. SellerCon was a big event years ago. It's usually have some good speakers. One year they had Damon John on there.
Yeah.
So that's Ezra Firestone, Ryan Moran. These are all good speakers of here. So that's a good event. I would definitely keep your eye on that one. And right now, it's super cheap, like $295.
Yeah.
That's
You
super
might want to
cheap.
book that book that now, because that'll be a fun event. You know where that's located? Is that in Texas?
I don't know. I know one year they had it in Vegas. Texas sounds familiar that they had it one year. I don't know where it's at. They haven't really put it out yet.
But we'll keep everyone posted on that. That might be something that we're going to. I mean, just to kind of wrap this up, that's just, obviously, I mean, that's 4 conferences that we're talking about in just September. Obviously, you can't go to every one of them, but you do want to make sure that you're keeping track of the conference schedules, what's coming up, and try to get to one every quarter, every few months, twice a year, something, just so you stay connected to the community, network, up to date on what's going on. It's super valuable. So
Yep, definitely something to look at.
Yep. All right, everybody. That is it for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back at this again after the long holiday. Have a good one, everybody. See ya.
See you guys.